Meanwhile, let's quickly shift focus back to phase 2. What it looks like in terms of 94 seats we are spread across 17 districts going to vote today. The Bihar Dangal is underway, and this is the most crucial phase. Out of all three, maximum number of seats go to polls this time around. More than 2.85 crore voters will seal the fate of 1,500 candidates. The Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Modi exercised his franchise in Patna, while Chirag Paswan voted in Khagadia. The phase of polling is the most crucial of all three phases. Like I just said, as after completion of this phase, the fate of two-thirds assembly seats will be sealed with only 73 seats left. Not only that, both Yadav Sai, Tejashwi and Tej Pratap are in the fray this time. LJP's 52 candidates are in the poll fray. Phase 1 of polling, where 71 assembly seats went to polls, saw over 54% of voter turnout, which for Bihar is low. But Bihar is a state which might be as politically smart, astute, but doesn't quite translate into a high voting percentage. Let's cut across to our panelists this morning. I have Manisha Priyam, academic researcher, Javed Ansari, senior journalist. Good morning to both of you. Manisha Priyam, second phase, extremely important. 94 seats going into votes, 17 districts. Look at caste calculations, which usually is said to be the backbone of any Bihar elections. Upper caste, extremely backward caste in the fray. In terms of class, Manisha, and that could, Ms. Priyam, be the decider between the caste or the divider between the caste, where maximum migrant voters come in from many areas going to polls this time.
So this time around, this phase of the polls is the critical heartland poll. Remember, the third phase is in a distinct, different kind of area. And this second phase is extremely critical, I would say, for the NDA. It pins its hopes on the East Champaran, West Champaran and Darbhanga areas, but also going to polls is Saran and Patna. Now, all in all, I would say that very, very tough for the NDA this time around, because the maximum amount of labor migration happens from the districts of Saran and from Darbhanga. Darbhanga has also been hit badly by the floods. So you have the migrant labor issue. You also have the floods issue. A lot of landlessness in these areas. So migrant labor that has returned back has nothing to fall back upon. When you come back home, it's not as if there is a hot meal cooking at home. So labor also under distress, because normal trains have not started back to labor destinations. So while economic activity has picked up, labor that came back home is stuck because they are unable to pay the high fare that buses are asking for, and many destinations, of course, are not reachable by bus. So beyond the layering of the jobs offering that has been put forward by Tejashwi, you find that there is a gamut of lower order demands by labor, and you find that the state has not responded to these issues. I would say definite anti-incumbency against the Nitish Kumar government, against Nitish Kumar's leadership, but the BJP hopes to do well, especially in straight fights with the Congress party that fights on the legacy of the Gandhi movement in the Champaran areas. It says it's very strong. An interesting factor here is that an erstwhile important Muslim leader of the RJD, Mr. M.A.A. Fatmi, he switched over to the JDU. So some even talk about the subplot here, that will the MY bastion of the RJD find some dents here, given the fact that Fatmi ji has walked over to the RJD. His son is fighting the elections. But on the ground, I think the RJD voter seems to be intact in terms of the MY combination. The critical question will be which way the EBC voter will swing, whether they see the past offerings of the Nitish Kumar government enough to hold them back as a small silent group, or is their anger such that they will swing towards the other formation, which is the MGB. So critical here in my understanding is the EBC voter. Critical here in my understanding is the fact that the past performance of Nitish Kumar government versus the current strong discontent against Nitish Kumar. Which pick will the EBC voter make? That's very, very important. I would also say that women who appeared to be a block against Nitish Kumar, this time around on the field, Preeti, women were very, very silent. any other time that I've gone trailing state elections in Bihar in the last decade or so, women would peep out of the, their ghar angna, as they said. They would peep out of the curtains and hint towards the fact, invite me. And this time around, I have seen their silence to be very, very stark. So that's very important. And lastly, I would say that in the upper caste, the questioning on the current government is very, very strong once again. So we have to see where it goes, and the NDA will have to certainly hold on to be able to make it back to power. Otherwise, if this phase they don't make up their losses in the first phase, it would be very tough for the NDA.
You know, talking about the NDA, Manisha Priyam, you've spoken about the BJP as well, stronghold East and West Champaran. Just to give our viewers perspective, the last election round, the BJP in the second phase on these constituencies had won just 20 seats. Out of those 20, 13 came from the East and West Champaran region. So it's extremely important for the BJP to capitalize on that. But I want to bring in right now Javed Ansari, senior journalist with us. You know, taking off from that, Javed, the fact is it's crucial for the NDA, where the RJD is concerned, facing off with the BJP is mostly Congress candidates, if you look at that, not the RJD. Do you think there was a fault or a chink in the armor there of the Mahagathbandhan?
Look, as far the way they've distributed the tickets and divided the tickets amongst themselves, it was decided that urban, semi-urban, and seats that have a large concentration of upper caste, the Congress would contest, and the other seats would be taken care of by the RJD. Yes, there are many who believe that the Congress is contesting perhaps 30 more seats than it ought to have. But now nothing can be done. It is in a manner set in stone. So that can't be undone. So everything will have to depend on how the Congress performs. A senior Congress leader told me last night over the phone that he says, look, just as Nitish is pulling down the NDA, the RJD is pulling all of us along. The RJD is ensuring that the other constituents of the UPA also, the Mahagathbandhan, do well. So by virtue of being an ally of the RJD, we will not do as badly as most of you sitting in Delhi or in media studios expect us to do. How that pans out, we'll only know on the 10th. But yes, there is a view. As far as perception goes, there is a perception that perhaps the Congress appears to be the weak link in this Mahagathbandhan.
All right, we're going to continue to come back to the both of you. And yes, ultimately, we'll only know when that last vote is counted. Come the 10th of November is when it would be result day. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.